I met my future wife online on a themed Discord server. We started talking and realized we liked each other. That same evening, she said she wanted me to come visit her. We lived in different cities, 1,800 kilometers apart. At that time, I was just finishing university and didn't have a steady income. I explained the situation to my parents. They understood and helped me financially to go see her and spend some time together. She couldn't come to me because she came from a very poor family, so I went. We were both 22. She shared that before me, she had been with 5 men, but she said those relationships were only for sex. She understood that, but still, in all her previous relationships, her partners left her. Her longest relationship before me lasted for years. When I asked why those relationships ended, she said she didn't know or understand. Because of that, she only wanted serious and stable relationships, and I was on the same page from the start. When I arrived in her city, she seemed distant, which I understood, as it was our first in-person meeting, even though we had already talked on video. But then she began to be capricious and yell at me. We went to a resort town where I wanted to sightsee, but she just wanted to stay in the hotel, watch TV, and eat as she pleased. I accepted this, understanding that she came from a poor family and her parents didn't care much. Her father worked in shifts at 28 days at work, 2 days home, running his own business, and sent little money back, as she said. She worked at a school, and all her earnings went to her family. She didn't spend on herself, although she wanted to. She also had a serious chronic illness and needed daily medication. We discussed these issues upfront, and I didn't see any obstacles for our relationship. When it was time for me to return home, I asked if we would continue our relationship. She froze and didn't answer. She asked logical questions about how we would manage a long-distance relationship. I told her that in 6 months I would have a stable job with a good income. It wasn't a guess, as I had already passed a long selection process. She said she wanted to continue our relationship and was willing to wait. Returning home, I was a bit confused because these were my first serious relationships. I worried that I might fail or that she might just be using me to escape her situation. She got tired of waiting and decided to break up. At that time, my parents wanted to give us a gift for New Year, to buy her tickets to visit me so we could spend the holidays together. She initially refused, saying there was no point since everything was over and she didn't want to show off in front of my parents. I convinced her to at least come and relax. She came, enjoyed it, and I introduced her to my parents. They really liked her. My mom saw in her a neglected child and accepted her as an older daughter. I have a younger sister. During the New Year holidays, my parents noticed that we were good together and told her that if she wanted to be with me, she could move to our city, and they would pay for the move, find her a job, and provide love, warmth, and care. She agreed. I was on cloud 9. My parents were supporting my happiness. We lived with my parents for the first month. The space was enough not to disturb each other. I had already found a stable, well-paying job. We rented our own place and lived together for 5 months without denying ourselves anything. That's when the first warning signs appeared. She said she didn't want to work. I asked if she meant working at school, because she didn't like working with children and couldn't build relationships with people. She said, "No, I don't want to work at all. I just want to stay home, do nothing, not even help around the house." At first, I thought she was joking, but she was serious. I tried explaining that we were young, our journey was just beginning, and we both needed to make efforts for a better life. She refused, saying she didn't want to try. I accepted this, as my income was enough for both of us, but I couldn't understand how someone wouldn't want something better. During summer vacation, she announced she wanted to go to her friend's city for 2 months to work as a camp counselor. I was shocked she didn't want to work, and now she wanted to leave for 2 months. I tried to explain what being a counselor involved, but she didn't care. I refused, we argued, and I was shocked that this situation escalated. 2 months before her planned trip, I got a job and my colleagues invited me to celebrate. I told her we would go with the group ages 20-44, with wives and children. She insisted on going with me. I tried to explain that she didn't fit in, but she didn't understand. I began seeing a wall between us. During the summer, she started asking about marriage. I told her we hadn't lived together properly yet, hadn't experienced daily life together. She insisted, "I want to get married, you don't love me," often causing hysteria and quarrels. I explained that marriage is responsibility, support in joy and sorrow, in sickness and health. I told her I was serious and ready to devote myself to the family, to support and be close. I asked why she chose me, as I had nothing then, no apartment, no proper education. I had paused university for a year to work and build a relationship, then returned and graduated, a barely working car, but some savings. She listed qualities she liked about me, and I asked if a man with the same qualities but wealthy and independent appeared, what would happen? She paused, cried, and said she loved me and didn't need anyone else. At the registry office, I cried with happiness, feeling I had found my family. 1 week after the wedding, we visited my parents. Guests came, arguments broke out, and she threw her ring against the wall and left. I was stunned. I called her to return, but she refused. We reconciled but never discussed it again. My parents gave us an apartment. She wanted to spend money on restaurants and shopping, but I insisted we buy essentials first. She refused. Later, she got a simple job but didn't want to work enough to earn her own money. 8 months after the wedding, she told me she wanted a divorce. There was no infidelity, but she said she wanted to live alone, with no responsibilities or dependence. She said I was a good husband, but she didn't need support or love. She just wanted comfort and freedom. On emotions, I said, if you love me, let me go, offered to pay for the divorce and her move, but she cried, saying I was her only dear person. I insisted she think carefully. She eventually changed her mind, but over 2 years, our relationship continued with repeated conflicts and my burnout. A month ago, I suggested divorce and she agreed, citing the same reasons as before. I suspected she had someone else. I discovered she had been seeing another man for a month. He even paid for her apartment. I felt betrayed and regretted not being stricter 2 years ago. All friends and family said it was for the best, considering her behavior, and that the right person would come into my life. I understand that logically, but emotionally it still eats me up inside.